Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. I have an update to one of the victims, is which we're calling them. They seem to be victims of a long con of Jane Doe. Of course, we know Clayton ISNT has been the public figure of this mess. What appears to be, at the very least, three men that have been involved in lies, coercion, and all of the sorts in an effort to attach them, maybe punish them, who knows, by this lady. Now, I'm covering this from my mobile studio setup because I'm actually moving across the country tomorrow morning. My studio is packed up. I want to thank everyone who has enjoyed me in front of my Rogue green screen the last 3 years. I'll be building a new setup, higher quality, better internet, better audio, and you can know it's because of all of your support. We've been able to get a new house, buy a house before we have our baby, and the dog gets to play on real grass. All of those good things are because of your support. Thank you guys all so much. In this video, and I've got a lot coming out to you this morning, very early here on the West Coast. I've got insane messages from victim number one. And what's most insane is it's like, look, okay, it's one thing that Jane Doe, isn't thinking rationally as she's dealing with these men. But now we've got her mom also, in some bizarre twist, sending chilling text messages to these men. You have to remember, this is the first guy. Clayton didn't know Mike. Mike didn't know Greg. Greg didn't know Mike. And Clayton didn't know Greg. None of them knew each other. And yet they all have the same story of dealing with this. It's been years, and Mike is finally, his court documents are finally coming out. They were never sealed. I think they were just very hard to get to. Maybe no one was looking. All right, so here I'm going to share with you guys the response to request for DV restraining order. We've got that here filed in 2018. Just this is 6 years ago. So for at least 6 years, this type of shenanigan has been going on. The text messages are insane that are shared here. So let's go to the initial statement that we have here. This is his initial statement. Again, this is Mike, and this is victim number one. For approximately 8 to 9 months from April 2016. Okay, so this has been going on for 8 years. From April 2016 until March 2017, I was involved in a dating relationship with Petitioner. During that time, Petitioner wanted a far more committed relationship than I was interested in. The allegations she has made are total fabrication from a young woman who has threatened to hurt herself multiple times, been hospitalized for depression, and been on anxiety, depression medications. For the sake of her mental health and emotional stability, I tried to work through things out with her and have a friendship. But she has been continued to be focused on having a permanent relationship with me, which I do not want. As shown in attachment 1, text messages between what appears to be her mom, Petitioner's mother, and myself. Petitioner has suffered from emotional issues that necessitated her placement in an inpatient facility, followed by outpatient treatment and multiple medications. Attachment 2, text messages between Petitioner's father and myself. And again, this is like sort of a famous guy, the father. He's like a well-known radio DJ, right? So the unacceptable stuff. And myself, he also acknowledges Jane Doe's mental and emotional instability. Mr. Doe, in a text message dated December 16, 2016, told me, please call Jane and promise her anything. She wants to keep her alive, and I promise to help you get out of it as soon as she's safe. Please, now. Additionally, the text from Petitioner to my sister, attachment 3, in December 2016, show Petitioner as a person consumed with her love for me and her desire to make our relationship work. I ended the relationship and wanted to move on with my life. Regarding her specific claims, question 2, page 5 of 6, I was leaving a restaurant with my sister, which was 300 feet from my sister's apartment. When we were exiting, Petitioner was outside and immediately confronted us and called me a liar, rapist, and thief. I asked her to leave me alone and to stay out of my life, but she kept arguing. Following this encounter, she wrote my present girlfriend and made accusations about me. Since before we dated, Petitioner has taken multiple medications to help with depression and anxiety. The text and all of the attachments confirm this. Towards the end of our relationship, Petitioner told me she would take horse tranquilizers to calm down. Now listen, This is wild stuff. It feels intrusive to read about this when we talk about medications people were on and the privacy and all of that. But you have to understand, this was the first of three men. So the buck didn't stop here. It kept going. Clayton, it didn't stop. And guess what? Jane Doe is on dating websites. We know this. She's on multiple high-end dating websites, and who knows if who's going to be the victim of this again. And also, can she be stopped? And what are the parents doing to stop this? Well, it actually looks like they may be doing something to enable it. So that's his statement, which again is eerily similar to the stories that Clayton and Greg have told. And here are text messages between Mike, victim one, and Jane Doe's mom. Mike, it's Jane Doe's mom. I got this text from Jane, who asked me to contact you and ask if you will give her another chance. She's terribly upset and feels you played her like a fool. I have to admit that her and I both believed you at the North Beach restaurant when you said you were taking responsibility for the pregnancy and that the timing was wrong. I can see how she didn't think you were lying and didn't intend to end the relationship when the pregnancy was over. Please read the text she wrote and consider giving her another chance. And again, we don't know if she was even pregnant for this first guy. The trend shows that she's willing to lie under oath about this. And some of these text messages are kind of hard to read. But he says, I told her that she was always giving me an ultimatum, and I was tired of receiving the threats. I've been 100% honest throughout this entire process, and I'm still here today, months after the operation, even though I'm incredibly unhappy with where we stand. I've been at my breaking point for a long time, and I've been honest and truthful with her. I feel bad for Mike, and I mean this in the best way possible. He sounds like a sucker here because he doesn't understand he's being conned. So he sounds like a sucker because he's trying his best to deal with somebody where I don't think the outcome was going to be amicable at all. So he says down here, I have never once asked for Iceland, nor did I know she had purchased it. She wanted it to be a surprise for me and never asked me what I was doing over that period of time. I had already purchased a trip a year ago that I was really looking forward to and canceled it because she made me feel guilty. So Iceland was a trip that Jane Doe went on with Mike here. And that's the basis for her TEDx talk, I guess, where she talks about her boyfriend was this bad guy. Let me ask you guys, do you think this is a bad guy? He was guilted and going into a surprise trip she put him on. Imagine if this was the other way around, where it's like a guy guilted a woman to go on a trip with him, and then was coercing her to stay with him through his mental health weaponization. I mean, real nasty stuff. The mom said, I understand what you're saying, but could you please call her and be gentle and hear what she is saying? It would mean a lot to all of us. She wants you to forgive her for whatever she's done that's gotten you to this point. My question still is, I can't believe that this is Jane Doe's mom. I just can't believe a person, unless they suffer from the same mental issues as Jane Doe, I can't believe they would play this game with her. Mike responded, I told her that if she betters herself that I would contemplate a future with her. She's again threatening to hurt herself. Did you go and see her today? She said she has been in her car for the last 4 hours. The mom says, so you did call her? He said, I'm still on the phone with her. The mom said, I think she will be in a better mindset if she just gets the medication adjusted, gets some rest, and is off of gluten for a while. Oh, bagels, they can really make you... No. If you can calm her, we would be eternally grateful. She is not acting like herself, and I'm certain it's because of meds and gluten and exhaustion. Yeah, get her a Snickers bar. And then the mom said, hi, Mike, are you with Jane Doe? We haven't heard anything from you or her since last night. He said, no, I'm with my family in Sacramento. And then the mom said, did I get the correct report that she's heading home and you two are back together? She just called us, and I are looking up hospitals to meet her at. And then, the mom also said, hi, Mike, we wanted to thank you so much for what you did for us and Jane this weekend. You saved her, and we will forever be grateful to you. She's getting treatment as an inpatient right now, and then will continue to be treated as an outpatient. They're going to change the medication, and it goes back and forth. We would love to take everyone out to the House of Prime Rib this holiday season if your mom and sister are in San Francisco. Oh, I understand. This is all a big ruse to promote House of Prime Chicken, a House of Prime Rib. No, I'm sure he's not rushing. Look, I don't care how good your rib is. I'd rather eat dog shit off of the sidewalk than have to deal with this family. I said we needed to do whatever we could to make sure your daughter came home safely. Yet you told her I was lying to her. So again, this is a text message that was sent from Mike here. I get being a mom, you want to protect your daughter, but I don't get why you do that when Jane was suicidal all weekend. Like I said, I understand you're her mother, but relaying that message caused an incredible amount of stress to me, and in turn, I took it out on my family. With all that being said, I appreciate your offer for dinner and even including my family, but I'm going to have to pass. I care, love, and appreciate you. So, I mean, clearly this man was just trying his best to please this monster and her family. Again, monster is my opinion of the matter. But, I mean, how else would you take this? Now, I understand there's a mental health issue here, but he's now taking it out on his family. He's doing everything he can. Here's the text messages between Jane Doe's mom and him. And again, he says, the reason for I'm writing you is to let you know that the statements I told Jane Doe this weekend were logical and out of compassion. I was given an ultimatum of if we are not together, then I'm going to kill myself. Nobody ever wants to be given an ultimatum, especially when death is involved. Jane and I said we needed to do whatever we could to make sure. So it's just, I mean, God damn, guys, this is brutal. I truly feel for this guy, Mike. I said this last night on a live stream. Any extra money that's raised on our GoFundMe that we don't need for legal fees, I'm going to just invite Mike, Greg, or Clayton to use that for whatever therapy we can afford. This is just unbelievable. Like I said, I understand you're her mother, but relaying that message caused an incredible amount of stress on me, and in turn, I took it out on my family. With all that being said, I appreciate your offer for dinner. Okay, so we already got that message there. So keeping all of you in our thoughts and prayers, Mike. So sorry for your loss. Please let us know if there's anything we can do. This, of course, Mike was dealing with. It appears to be a close family member. I believe his stepdad was dying and on his deathbed, and rather than being with his family, he's having to deal with trying to save somebody's life. Mike's a goddamn hero here. He's trying to save somebody's life, not realizing how manipulated he's being. Or maybe he did realize. You are very welcome. I am glad your mom likes azaleas. They are one of my favorite too because they last a long time. I'm glad you're all able to be together and support one another at this time. Stay strong. Okay, so I guess they sent Mike's family flowers. And then now here we have the mom saying they increased her dosage of Cymbalta, and I think it has had a very bad effect on her. I think it wasn't a good idea and has made her very anxious and upset. Please be kind and patient with her. It's all because of the drug and she hasn't eaten. He said, I understand that and have been kind and patient, but when she doesn't like an answer, she gets thoroughly, my guess is, not happy, upset. And you can't read some of this. There are some things she doesn't need to know, especially the state that she is in. I didn't say I never want to see anyone again. I respectfully declined the kind invitation because it's still too fresh. My family is focused on someone who is ill. The mom says, I totally understand and feel very sorry for what your family is going through right now. I'm truly sorry that this has been a distraction. I would just ask for your continued understanding. So either this is the mom or this is an elaborate hoax by Jane Doe. Either way, it's disgusting. I don't know what's worse. What would be great is if the mom came forward and say, hey, those aren't my text messages. And honestly, I think the only way for that to happen is if people expose this mom and shame her. And I'm not saying hurt her legacy, but like expose this. Did you say all these? I mean, it's in the court papers, so I'm guessing she did, but could it have been that Jane was behind the curtain here in the Wizard of Oz and controlling all of this? Leave a comment. I truly don't know. So the mom continues, I would just ask for your continued understanding and patience, as I feel strongly that her current state of mind and tearfulness is due to the medication, which may not have been in the right choice for her in the first place, and may have compounded her feelings by being increased today. Keeping all of your thoughts and prayers. He says, thank you very much, and thanks for the beautiful plants. He's just trying to be nice here. Text between petitioner's father and respondent. Again, another quote-unquote celebrity. This is a well-known, in some ways respected radio DJ, who of course is very sick himself, but he is trying to help his daughter, Jane Doe. Please call Jane and promise her anything she wants to keep her alive, and I promise to help get you out of it as soon as she's safe. Oh, how did that work out for you, Mike? Now you're being, now you've got an order of protection against you here in a court record. You're, some YouTuber, some podcaster named Dave Neal here is covering you. How did he protect you now? Mike says, she sends me to voicemail every time. And then he says, we're now telling her that by text. He says, done. Dad says, please also remember she suffered a concussion last week. And between that and the pills, she is not herself. And then Mike said, no excuses. And, good for Mike for starting to stick up for himself. He says, no excuses. I can't read what he said there. Dad said, we are desperate to get a hold of her and nothing yet. She said you are talking. Can you please respond to her? We need her back. He said, Jane's dad, I've done everything for you guys all day while my stepfather is dying. Yet you both don't have the decency to call me back. That's why I think it's Jane Doe. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm giving this family too much credit. The dad said, I feel like absolute shit reading your text. I'm so sorry. I had no idea that your stepfather was dying, and you were absolutely right. I didn't realize my ringer was off until now. I will call you back when she is safe back in San Francisco. He said, and thank you for sending the flowers to my family. That means a lot. Next text between Jane Doe's, in response. So text between Mike's sister and Jane Doe, I believe. I really appreciate the advice. I've noticed that with him too. It's just been a very hard day, and the more I try to do the right thing, the more I seem to do the wrong thing. This is Jane, even though that's obviously the opposite of my intention. I will listen to what you said and move forward. Again, here's Mike's sister. I'm sorry it's been a difficult day. Just take some deep breaths, and know that he cares about you and your well-being. Jane says, I really appreciate it. I genuinely want nothing more in my life than to work on my relationship with him, and I seem to keep messing it up. Well, she got that right. She said, hi, I just got my phone back for a couple of minutes tonight and wanted to say I'm here for you if you ever want to talk about the depression stuff, because clearly I get it. I'll be praying for you to feel better. Than that feeling is the worst. I guess this is from the sister. I also just wanted to reiterate my gratefulness and apologies to your family and to your brother. Oh, no, this is from Jane Doe. My big goal is to come out of this as the best possible partner for him and would give him the world if I could. He truly deserves him, and I so treasure him in our relationship. I just need to show him that rather than only use the words all the time, he is my motivation, and you should be really proud to call him your brother. Hope you're doing better and sleep well. She said, hi, Jane. Thank you for your kind messages. I am proud. He is a good and kind soul, and so are you. Again, everyone's trying their best here to negotiate with this. And I'm sure the sister wanted to give this Jane Doe compassion, but the idea that Mike is a kind and good soul is so sad that was used against him. Jane says, I'll miss you guys. She says, thank you so much for listening to me. I've just hoped he would believe in me that my heart is genuinely in the best place, and I'm trying to get these emotional issues under control. It breaks my heart that I know he doesn't believe I can change. Thanks for believing in me and helping me. You have been such a bright light. I have just effed everything up with the person I cared about most. I just wish he understood and could support me while I've been struggling rather than seem so doubtful about my abilities. I will miss you guys in my daily tremendously. Thank you for trying. I'm just not enough. I don't deserve another chance, and God has no reason to keep me on this earth any longer. And I'm totally okay with that. Mike deserves the best, and it wasn't you. And then she responds, says, Jane, you're a good person. Jane Doe says, I also think Mike and I are unfortunately very similar, where when our buttons are pushed, we end up saying just about the worst things to each other that we don't actually mean. Then I immediately regret it and want reassurance, but he needs time. I think I just need to accept him for every absolutely fantastic quality he has and realize that what has caused our fights has largely been one, social media, which you brought up and is really true. It doesn't matter at all. I just was sad that he didn't want me posting pics together, but I totally believe what you said, that he just doesn't do that with anyone. And two, my anxiety and depression, and I'm 100% sure whatever drugs I am on for it are making it way worse for me. I don't blame her there. That could be true. I was just not nice on the phone. I've done a lot to be there for Mike and support him, and I wouldn't dream of ignoring him or not taking his calls. My heart is telling me that I shouldn't be with someone who treats me like this and ignores me when I am upset. I don't think he cares if I stay or if I go, so I guess I have my answer, which is hard. and then we have the proof of service here, and that's it. So that's the beginning, folks. Now you can go on the Justice for Reddit page, and you can see some of the comments here of the parents begging to get a hold of him, saying, "Please call her. You know, she wants to talk to you. Make this right." These types of things. Again, I don't know. I don't know what's, it's just disgusting stuff. It's just disgusting stuff. Here's a text message from Jane. Mike recently made the comment to me that he would have said anything in the world to get out of having a child, that he agreed to whatever I want just to not have to have it. This has been weighing on me like a ton of bricks lately, and I absolutely cannot live with myself anymore. The child would have been born soon, and I wish to hell I had had it. He told me at no point was he my boyfriend even during that. I think you could at least mention to him how this is killing me. I aborted it for nothing. He literally just said words to appease me. The entire reason I gave up this kid was because he said he was going to try so hard on our relationship and to be a good boyfriend, and there has been no follow through. Again, we just don't know. I don't know if she was pregnant. Maybe she'll say, I was pregnant. But again, at this point, up is down, down is up, right is left, and left is right. Jane is wild. Wild stuff. Again, this was just victim number one that we know of. Apparently, there's a guy named Andrew. We're waiting. He hasn't come through. Victim number one, victim number two, and Clayton being victim number three. Help us prevent a victim number four. Let's get the help here in the intervention. We're waiting to hear back on Clayton's case. Jane Doe has a new lawyer. We'll be covering that, and I'll also be covering the story of the missing credit on Nick Viall's podcast. All that and more coming to you guys right after this.